this is Gabby V, and welcome to the Clever Hybrids podcast. Every season, we interview 12 bilingual professionals from around the world to hear their tips and to help you thrive in this multidimensional world. Let's jump right into the episode. Hey everybody, so this one is going to be super silly. I'm here with Ana Quintanilla Duhne. Is it how you pronounce it?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be German, Duhne, but I don't know how to say it in German, so I say it in Spanish. Yes. Hey.
Okay. You're the second Latina that I interviewed that has a German background. We had Maria Scheibengraf from Argentina last season. I don't know, even me, I grew up around Latinos, but it's nice to see how there are so many different ethnic groups within the LATAM.
That's right. All together, you never know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolate. Yeah.
So, Anna, do you want to explain why Carlos is with us today? We had a bit of a time mix up, so you were nice enough to be like, "Yeah, I'm doing my hair. I can still do the interview anyway." I was like, "Are you sure?" You said, "Okay, yeah, it's fine." Okay.
Okay. So yeah, here my friend Carlos. He's a very nice hairdresser, and he's the best in Mexico. That's why we get along very well. Very smart person.
Yeah, it's nice. Right at home service too.
Yes,
Very fancy.
very fancy.
¿Qué le ofrece cambio de imagen?
We offer to help you if you want too.
Okay, it might be kind of hard because I have locks. Do you know how to do that, Carlos? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. You've been working with Wisden for almost 30 years now. Congratulations. But in that time, you've been the innovation director, but you've also been an external consultant to a lot of international companies. How did you balance those two?
It's kind of like the same thing. Wisdom is a consulting firm, and I'm a consultant. So from the firm, we go to different companies, especially CEOs and plant managers that need to enhance their leadership skills, or they need to make their team be more aligned to the vision, or they need to plan stuff. Executive coaching, that's what we do. We ask a lot of questions to make people think about what they're doing. And in the question, there's some information. Like, say you are lost in a city and you phone me and I'm asking you questions like, well, what streets do you see? And what buildings do you see? And do you see this and that? Sometimes when we're lost, talking about leadership or how to manage our emotions, some questions are really important. Once you hear the question, you start thinking, what am I doing about this? But that wasn't there before the question was asked. So that's why this executive coaching is key to improving the outcome of a whole company. So, anyways, I've been doing that with 25 other people for over 29 years. And just recently, 4 years ago, we decided to have this digital transformation. And I'm in charge of getting everything into the digital world. And now we went into Wiz. That's the greatest breakthrough that we've made, trying to make an artificial intelligent bot that can give you coaching. So we got all this data inside. There's like more than 400 dialogues you can have with this virtual assistant, and it's growing every day.
Yeah, Wiz Coach is really cool too because I like the fact that it's in Spanish. So there's a lot of Latinos that they're like, I need training. And there's so much training information in English, but
Yes.
it's nice to have it in your own language. But I noticed that Wiz Coach, the actual logo of the mascot, is it an octopus? Why did you choose that?
Oh, because when we were deciding about this chatbot, we thought, it would be very nice to like look at your coach. But if we put a face, then you get into genders, and then you get into race. Very problematic. So we went into, let's do an animal. a smart animal. And we thought about dolphins. Well, there's tons of dolphins. And then we thought about the owls, but there's tons of owls. So we thought, what is another smart animal? And then I came across the octopus. You know, octopus can recognize a human. If they see a person and then they see it again and they have a good relationship, they will keep it. So there's so many things that I said, you know what? That's a good idea. Through Wiz, we can help people with their leadership, with how to give feedback, how to manage conflicts. We can even help them plan their objectives. And that's how we went into the octopus thing. Now we just
Hmm.
love the octopus and the purple color.
Yeah, that's a good idea once you explain it like that. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
And something else, octopus lives on the bottom of the ocean. So when you talk to your coach, especially if it's a bot, you can talk about anything that is down deep in your heart. And it's going to be okay. And it's totally private. Nobody will see that.
A lot of symbolism there.
Yeah.
Nice. Like, so how can a company work with the Wiz Coach? Does it has to be something they get one on one, or do the company leadership need to ask for it?
Right now, we're working with a big bank in Mexico, and we are serving at this moment 750 managers at the same time. Imagine having 750 people on Monday have their coaching session that lasts between 10 and 15 minutes, and they learn about leadership. So we give them a program, what to do with Wiz. So one day they'll think about how to influence people on your same league, let's say. Next day, the challenge would be how to improve your leadership when you have people under your responsibility. And the next day would be how to focus on the relationship with your client. So every day, if you have a to do thing that is to develop your own skills, personal and professional skills, we just tell them this is what is recommended for your development. But hey, if you want to talk about how to be a better mom or have a better relationship with your sister, welcome. You can have as many conversations as you want. Everything is confidential, but we have data, what kind of emotions they have, because it's very different to be stressed because you have anxiety or stress because you have tons of work today. And also, what are they fixing with that coaching conversation? We can tell the company what they have in mind, what people have in mind when they're working with Wiz. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's a good compromise between being private and still having some data to work on. I like that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So is it mostly clients in Nuevo Leon that you're working with or all over Mexico?
They're all over, but not just Mexico. With this organization, Familia Vicentina, this institution started, I think it was in France, some 200 years ago. This is a religious organization that help the poor, and they're all over. And we are helping through WIS all America, the continent, America and Africa. Every day we have more people working with it. So even if you get only the freemium, it's really good because it has how to deal with your stress and how to deal with the loss when you lose a person or you lose your work or something, how to make closure that's there, how to forgive others or maybe forgive yourself or ask for forgiveness. That's really big. In all companies, there are little things that add up. So, in order to be really free and happy, you need to deal with these things. inside you. So that's also there. It's available for everyone. It started in Spanish, as you said. So Latinos all over the world can use it. But we're already partnering with a company that is going to translate and like English from England is different than the English from Australia, you know? So we want to have the right translation for each place. So we're working on that already.
That's awesome. Well, from your experience, since you've been in Monterrey for a long time and working with the Latino community, how do most Latinos feel about mental health, especially this newer generation that's starting to work now? How do they feel about it?
I think it's the new normal. Everyone is checking about their mental health. They're going to check with a psychologist. They take several lessons, they take it in the internet. It's something that everyone talks about now. And in Mexico, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a new norm. It's a norm 035. All companies are supposed to have this integrated to their everyday life, and that's to assure that there's no social psychological risks. So last year, all Mexicans needed to make this evaluation about how stressed do you feel at work, and if there's like leadership issues or other kind of issues that make people stress, they need to fix it. Otherwise, they're going to get fined. If there's a company with 10,000 people, how do you manage? How can you help them have mental health and also physical health? So that's where technology really helps. We didn't know this was going to happen 2 years and a half ago, but I'm glad we started this project because now it's really necessary to use it so that everyone feels better. We found that with 10 to 15 minutes that all people used Wiz, stress decreased in 30%. That's really good.
Just in time, especially with this pandemic, everybody's been super stressed out,
Yeah,
whether you're working from home or you're a essential worker. There's a lot going on. So
right,
perfect timing. Wow. Oh my goodness. I don't know. That's amazing that you started planning this and then it all fits together afterwards.
right. Yeah, it's working very nice. If you want to use it right now, you just have to go to Coach and can go there and experience. Well, just the ones that really can speak Spanish.
Okay, I'll put that. That's most of our gente here for the Clever Hivers tribe. Most of them are Latinos. So they'll
Oh, that's
check that out.
wonderful. That's wonderful. You know what? I grew up till I was 5 in England.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then at the age of 5, I came to Mexico. And then my parents kept talking a little bit of English to me, but it went away. So it's good that I learned when I was like really small because I didn't have to learn. Like go to school kind of thing. But again, like you just saw my English. I don't know all the words, but I get along.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes new words come from use, or you're like, I don't know that word. I need to look that up. But what were you guys doing in England?
Oh, my dad was doing his PhD in physics.
Okay.
So he stayed there like 4 years and a half, and the family came with him.
Okay, that's nice. You got to go with him. Were you guys
Yeah,
in London or another city?
just north in Loughborough.
Okay, cool.
Yes, close to Manchester.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything from those years of it being cold, or what do you remember?
Well, the worms. I used to play with the worms. Have you ever played with worms?
Yeah, worms. They're like wiggly, and you just poke
Yes.
them.
You know, it rained every day. It was moisture all the time. It was wonderful. My mom said that one day, with clear skies at night, was the first time I saw the stars. And I kept saying, look at the lights, look at the lights. Because it's always cloudy, right? So I guess I was like 3 or 4 the first time I saw the stars. And I like the weather. And I remember it was a small town around the university. So I do remember going like to the parks and playing in the swings. That was very nice. And going to school and having like a quarter of milk for at lunchtime. That was wonderful.
Ah,
Very
that's
nice.
nice memories. Did you have anything that really stressed you out, or once you moved back to Mexico, was there anything that was hard for you?
Well, obviously, I noticed money was different. The paper was different. And also about the culture. Over there in England, we went to the town's pool. All women showered together. And in Mexico, you're not supposed to shower in front of another person. So it's a culture. I'm like, what's wrong here? People say, oh, cover yourself. I'm like, why? Of course, you should, right? But I didn't get it. Those
Yeah,
were like
different culture.
different culture things. Yes.
That's a funny one that you mentioned that one. Okay.
Yeah, and like peanut butter. People didn't used to eat peanut butter 40 years
Ah,
ago, 45 years ago.
yeah,
In
that's a good
Monterrey,
one.
at least, was unknown. And I love peanut butter.
You're like, what? You don't know about this? They're like,
Peanut
what
butter
is that?
sandwich. I know. Basic stuff. Yeah.
Man, so you've been a clever hybrid from the beginning. That was you.
Yes. Very hybrid.
Oh my goodness. So what is it about Monterrey that's so special? We always hear about in the news Mexico City, Guadalajara, Aguascalientes, but Monterrey outside of Mexico City, it's the highest GDP per capita, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of maquiladoras,
Yeah.
a lot of industry happening. What is it that makes Nuevo León, Monterrey so special?
Since the beginning, people came to Monterrey because they were getting away from something. Most of them Jewish that needed some space to practice their faith. And most of them like really hard workers. That work culture has been alive since then. That's what we're proud of. What are you doing? Who are you helping? It's close to the States, that is the biggest market. So that's also good. We just appreciate good business.
Okay. Would you say that because like these maquiladoras, they do export a lot to the U.S. and other countries? Would you say that a lot of managers speak English well because of that, or where's their English level?
Well, wait a second here. Maquiladoras got here, I would say, 20 years ago. They're more popular now. They didn't start it in Monterrey like something really big. It started more over Ciudad Juarez. That's border with El Paso, Texas. That's where I first went to a maquiladora. I was in high school. When I came back, I was already 16 coming back to Monterrey, and some maquilas were already being put in Monterrey. But that's not the main industry here. Before maquilas, all these big companies were already established here by locals. Just recently, all this international money is flowing in. In a way, maquilas are good because the labor used to be basic labor, but now every time it's getting higher. Like most engineers are working in the maquilas because everything is like all this robotics and high tech stuff. It's not just cheap labor. Now it's you gotta you gotta develop stuff to work in one of those big companies. And now they're my clients. So I have clients, maquilas like Corning, that they have 16,000 people working there. That's a lot of people. That's up north in Reynosa. That's 2 hour drive from here. It's very pretty. Woo.
We're running out of time. I know.
Oh, you were asking about the English. I don't think it's about the companies being here from abroad that we speak English. That most schools were already teaching English here. That's why most of us speak English, and because of the movies, and because Texas is really close, so we just drive there.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I left you guys behind. Sorry, everybody. Could you explain, Anna, what is a maquila? Maybe
Maquila.
people,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, what is a
maquiladora.
maquila? Maybe people don't know.
Okay, maquiladora. What is it? It's a company that imports raw material, put it together in this country, and export the 100% back to the other company. So a maquiladora from United States that is placed in Mexico will get all the supplies from the States or wherever the company has its vendors, and just assemble everything here and put it back. You can't sell here. They pay less taxes. So they have these benefits for establishing their business here. Like, for example, from Denmark, we have here Danfoss and Lego. Lego has the biggest factory here in Monterrey. It's very important to speak English and other languages too, depending on the company. Like right now, here in Monterrey, there's Kia and other 20 Korean companies. So there's lots of people learning Korean now.
Wow, was not expecting that. Okay,
Yeah, big time. And you see Korean people everywhere.
very cool. So now you have the AI, you have people who are learning so many languages. I will let you get under the dryer. This is the last question.
Oh, let me tell everyone, this is the first time in my life I'm dyeing my hair. So I've had no idea how it's going to turn. Okay. Anyway, shoot the question.
Okay, now I have to remember what the question
Oh,
was.
I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I have to
so
stay
we
like
have,
this 30 minutes.
okay, let's stay like this for 30 minutes. So I will be quick. So this last question, we have the AI with Wisdom. We have people who are trying to learn so many languages at these large companies. Is individual coaching still something that you do on a regular basis or not as often?
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah,
And why is it still valuable?
it's always going to be valuable and always going to be needed, especially at the leadership level, the C level. It's always good that someone is asking you questions because big companies like the 500 kind of companies, they're expecting to double their size in 5 years. So if they were able to do that today, they would, but they're not able. Why? Because they're lacking skills. It's not about money, it's about skills. We need to accelerate the development of some key people. And that's been the way it's done for so many years, and that's right, and that's going to continue. The, Now with AI, we can give, let's say, 90% of that coaching that CEOs are having at the moment. We can give it to all supervisors, even the entry level. We can give the Wiz Coach to everyone. So they are going to be talking in the same language. They're going to have the same insights. Wouldn't that help the whole company? So it's not that we're putting an AI bot like Wiz Coach to do the job of coaches or psychologists. No, we're just allowing everyone to be able to have these benefits.
Yeah, more access. I like that. That's amazing. So Anna, I'm gonna let you go ahead and chill out. But could you say again for the audio record, where can people find out more about Wisden and Wiz Coach? Where are you on social media? What's the website? Please tell us that.
Well, you can find Wisden, that's WISDENN.com, and Wisden Consulting, you can find it in LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. Wiz is one of the products. You can use it every day, all the time you want. If you leave it there and you don't attend it for 3 hours, it's still going to be there. But at 12 o'clock at night, it will erase all the conversation. Only your learnings and your commitments will stay there. Everything that you talked about your friend and your boss and everything will erase. I also invite you to listen to El Podcast de Wisdom. That's how you will find it. El Podcast de Wisdom. It's also in the Wiz Coach.
Very cool. And what do you guys talk about on the podcast?
Oh, it's like the to do thing. Like you want to learn how to public speak, or if you want to learn how to give feedback. How to, there's more than 90 different episodes. How to do something in around 6 to 12 minutes, we'll tell you how.
Okay, and that's in Spanish, right?
Yeah, totally. Everything Spanish.
Very cool. Well, this is Ana Maria Quintanilla Duhne, the very cool psychologist, probably the coolest psychologist in the world. Maybe the first to do an interview while getting her hair done.
For the first time in my life.
This was not staged, everybody. This was a coincidence, just so you know.
Wonderful. I love coincidences. Thank you very much, Gabby. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful and happy that have met had a chance to meet you.
Well,
Something
thank
like
you,
that.
and welcome to the Clever Hybrids tribe.
Thank you.
Still want more? First, subscribe or follow the Clever Hybrids podcast wherever you're listening to this, and you can binge listen to our 30 plus episodes. If you want even more than that, we share helpful clips and quotes from our podcast on our Instagram and Twitter accounts. The handle is @CleverHybrids. But Clever Hybrids isn't just a podcast. We're a language, service, and content creation business. If you want help to be bilingual or to create a podcast or content for your business, check out our website, cleverhybrids.com, and mention the code CHPodcast20 to get 20% off your order. And as always, welcome to the Clever Hybrids tribe. This is Gabby V signing off. See you next time.